Your gut controls your brain more than you think. I'm going to show you the exact science behind the gut-brain axis and 5 research-backed strategies that can transform both your mental and physical health. This isn't just about digestion. This is about how trillions of microbes in your intestines are literally shaping your mood, your stress response, and your brain function right now. By the end, you'll have a complete framework you can use today to optimize your microbiome. And if you stay until the end, I'll reveal the one food category that research shows increases healthy gut bacteria diversity faster than anything else. Welcome back to Deeper Dudes. But first, let's talk about why your gut health might be the missing piece in your mental health puzzle. You've tried everything: better sleep, exercise, meditation, but you still feel anxious, foggy, or just off. Research shows that over 90% of your body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter that regulates mood, is produced in your gut, not your brain. Yet nobody teaches us how to actually support this system. What a load of crap. So when you're struggling with mental health, you're treating the brain while ignoring the organ that's controlling it. I know because I lived it. I spent years optimizing my routine, my schedule, my productivity systems, wondering why I still felt mentally sluggish. Then I learned about the gut microbiome and everything changed. But the gut-brain connection isn't just about serotonin. It's a complete bidirectional communication highway. And here's exactly how it works. The gut-brain axis operates through multiple pathways simultaneously. First, there's the vagus nerve, a massive nerve that runs directly from your brainstem to your abdomen. This is the superhighway of gut-brain communication. When certain bacteria in your gut produce specific metabolites, they send signals up the vagus nerve that directly influence your brain's stress response, emotional regulation, and even hunger signals. This happens fast, within milliseconds to seconds. Then there are slower chemical pathways. Your gut bacteria produce neurotransmitters, short-chain fatty acids, and other molecules that enter your bloodstream and eventually cross the blood-brain barrier to affect your brain chemistry. This takes hours to days, but the effects are profound and long-lasting. Here's what makes this fascinating. Your gut actually contains more neurons than your spinal cord. This enteric nervous system, sometimes called the second brain, can operate independently of your actual brain. It controls digestion, yes, but it's also constantly sampling your gut environment and sending status reports to your brain about what's happening down there. When your microbiome is balanced, these signals promote feelings of well-being, stable energy, and healthy appetite regulation. When it's disrupted, you get increased inflammation signals, stress hormone activation, and disrupted hunger cues that can lead to overeating or loss of appetite. A healthy microbiome is defined by 2 main characteristics: diversity and balance. Diversity means having a wide variety of different bacterial species. Research consistently shows that people with more diverse gut microbiomes have better mental health outcomes, stronger immune systems, and lower rates of obesity and metabolic disease. The typical healthy adult has between 300 and 500 different bacterial species in their gut. Balance means having the right ratios of beneficial bacteria to potentially harmful ones. Your gut will always contain some bacteria that could cause problems in large numbers, but when beneficial species dominate, they keep the harmful ones in check and produce compounds that support your health. So what disrupts this balance? Let me walk you through the biggest factors. Chronic stress is perhaps the most underestimated microbiome disruptor. When you're stressed, your body diverts blood flow away from your digestive system and toward your muscles for fight or flight. This starves your beneficial gut bacteria of oxygen and nutrients. Studies show that even short-term stress can reduce microbiome diversity within days. One study on college students found that microbiome diversity dropped significantly during finals week and didn't fully recover for weeks afterward. Antibiotics are another major disruptor, and this one's unavoidable sometimes. Antibiotics save lives, but they're essentially carpet bombs for your gut. They kill harmful bacteria causing your infection, but they also wipe out beneficial species. Research shows it can take 6 months to 2 years for your microbiome to fully recover from a single course of broad-spectrum antibiotics, and some species may never return without intentional reintroduction. Your environment and lifestyle matter enormously. People who live with pets, especially dogs, have more diverse microbiomes because they're exposed to more bacterial species through contact with their animals. People who spend time outdoors in diverse natural environments have richer microbiomes than those who stay primarily indoors. Even the people you live with shape your microbiome because you're constantly exchanging bacteria through physical contact and shared spaces. If this is helping, please hit that like button so more people can find this information when they need it most. And drop a comment. Have you noticed a connection between your gut health and your mental state? I read every single one, and I'd love to hear your experience. Now here's where it gets really practical. Your diet is the most powerful tool you have for shaping your microbiome, and the effects happen faster than you might think. Before we go any further, I want to pause for something important. None of what we've been talking about matters if we don't have the energy and clarity to actually implement it. We all know what it feels like to wake up exhausted. No energy, poor focus, and zero motivation. We also know what it feels like when we get good, restful sleep, targeted therapy, and the right supplements. I've personally tested more things than you can imagine. I'm like your personal guinea pig. Everything I have listed in the description below is science-backed and extensively tested. And if you grab anything through my links, you'll be supporting this channel at zero cost to you. Thanks for taking a look. Now let's get back to it. Here's the truth about gut health that changes everything. What you eat doesn't just feed you. It feeds the trillions of bacteria in your gut, and they vote on your health with their metabolism. Feed the right bacteria, and they produce compounds that reduce inflammation, stabilize your mood, and strengthen your immune system. Feed the wrong ones, and they produce inflammatory compounds and send hunger signals to your brain that drive cravings for more of the same unhealthy foods. This is called the microbiome feedback loop, and once you understand it, you can work with it instead of against it. This means every meal is an opportunity to reshape your microbiome. Research shows that significant shifts in bacterial populations can occur within 24 to 48 hours of dietary changes. Within 3 to 4 days, you can measurably increase populations of beneficial species. Strategy 1. Increase dietary fiber from diverse plant sources. Here's why this works. Fiber is the primary food source for beneficial gut bacteria. When they ferment fiber, they produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, acetate, and propionate. Butyrate is particularly important because it's the preferred fuel source for the cells lining your colon, and it has powerful anti-inflammatory effects both in the gut and systemically in your brain. Studies show that people who consume 30 or more grams of fiber daily have significantly more diverse microbiomes than those consuming 15 grams or less. The average American gets only about 15 grams per day. Here's the system. Aim for 30 different plant foods per week, not 30 servings, 30 different types. This includes vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, seeds, and whole grains. Track them in your phone for 1 week to establish a baseline. Most people are shocked to find they eat the same 10 to 12 plants on repeat. Each different plant contains different types of fiber and polyphenols that feed different bacterial species. When I started tracking this, I realized I was eating maybe 12 different plants per week, mostly the same salad ingredients and the same fruits. When I intentionally diversified to 30 plus, I noticed clearer thinking and more stable energy within 2 weeks. The research backs this up. A major study found that people consuming 30 plus different plant types weekly had microbiomes significantly more diverse than those eating 10 or fewer types, regardless of total fiber amount. Variety matters as much as volume. Small steps make this achievable. Add 1 new vegetable to your dinner. Throw different nuts or seeds on your breakfast. Swap your usual apple for berries one day and citrus another. These small changes add up fast. Strategy 2. Incorporate fermented foods daily. This is where the research gets really exciting. A 2021 Stanford study compared 2 groups. One increased fiber intake, the other increased fermented food intake. Both groups improved their gut health, but the fermented food group showed significantly greater increases in microbiome diversity. We're talking about foods like yogurt with live cultures, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, and other traditionally fermented vegetables. These foods contain live beneficial bacteria that can colonize your gut, and they contain postbiotics, the beneficial compounds produced during fermentation that have immediate anti-inflammatory effects. Here's the protocol. Start with 1 serving of fermented food per day. If you're not used to them, start small because the bacterial die-off and adjustment can cause temporary digestive discomfort. A 1/4 cup of sauerkraut or kimchi, or 6 ounces of yogurt or kefir. Gradually increase to 2 to 3 servings daily over 2 to 3 weeks. Choose unpasteurized versions when possible, since pasteurization kills the live bacteria. Check labels for live and active cultures. The Stanford study participants who consumed 6 servings of fermented foods daily showed the most dramatic improvements, with increases in 19 different beneficial bacterial strains and measurable decreases in inflammatory markers in their blood. One participant told researchers that after 8 weeks, his chronic joint pain had diminished significantly, and he felt mentally sharper than he had in years. Strategy 3: Strategic fasting and time-restricted eating. Here's what most people miss about fasting and gut health. Your gut bacteria need rest periods too. Constant eating, especially snacking, means constant bacterial activity and constant digestive demand. When you fast, even for 12 to 14 hours overnight, you give your gut lining time to repair, reduce bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine, and allow beneficial bacteria to redistribute. Research on time-restricted eating, where you consume all food within an 8 to 10 hour window, shows improvements in microbiome diversity and increases in bacteria that produce butyrate. Here's the simple approach. Establish a consistent eating window. If you finish dinner at 7 p.m., don't eat again until 7 a.m. the next day. That's a 12-hour fast, and it's enough to provide benefits. Gradually extend to 14 or 16 hours if it feels sustainable. During the fasting window, stick to water, black coffee, or plain tea. When I implemented 16 to 8 time-restricted eating between noon and 8 p.m., I noticed reduced bloating and more consistent energy. But the key is consistency. Your gut bacteria adapt to patterns, so irregular eating times can be just as disruptive as poor food choices. Strategy 4: Minimize artificial sweeteners and emulsifiers. Here's the uncomfortable truth that the food industry doesn't want you thinking about. Many processed foods contain additives specifically designed to improve texture, shelf life, and sweetness without calories. But research increasingly shows these compounds directly damage your gut lining and reduce microbiome diversity. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and saccharin have been shown in multiple studies to alter gut bacteria composition in ways that promote glucose intolerance and metabolic dysfunction. Even though they contain no calories, they affect your metabolism by changing your microbiome. Emulsifiers, the compounds that keep ingredients mixed in processed foods, have been shown to thin the protective mucus layer in your gut, allowing bacteria to get closer to your intestinal wall and trigger inflammation. Common emulsifiers include carboxymethylcellulose and polysorbate 80. You'll find them in ice cream, processed baked goods, and many plant-based milk alternatives. The action step: read ingredient labels and minimize foods containing these additives. Choose whole foods whenever possible. When you do buy packaged foods, look for shorter ingredient lists with recognizable items. This single change, reducing processed food intake, consistently shows up in research as one of the most impactful interventions for microbiome health. Strategy 5: Manage stress for gut health. We talked earlier about how stress disrupts your microbiome, but here's the intervention protocol. Your gut and brain are in constant communication, and this works both ways. Just as your gut affects your mental state affects your gut. Chronic stress reduces beneficial bacteria, increases gut permeability, and promotes inflammatory bacterial species. But specific stress management practices can protect and even improve your microbiome. Here's the research-backed approach. Practice diaphragmatic breathing for 5 minutes before meals. This activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode, which increases blood flow to your digestive system and optimizes the environment for beneficial bacteria. Literally just slow deep breaths into your belly for 5 minutes. One study found that participants who practiced this before meals showed improved digestion and reduced stress-related gut symptoms within 2 weeks. Incorporate regular movement, but not excessive exercise. Moderate exercise increases microbiome diversity. Overtraining without adequate recovery does the opposite. Aim for 30 minutes of moderate activity most days, whether that's walking, cycling, or resistance training. Prioritize sleep. Poor sleep disrupts your circadian rhythm, and your gut bacteria have circadian rhythms too. They expect to be fed and active during certain hours and dormant during others. Chronic sleep disruption confuses these rhythms and reduces diversity. Aim for 7 to 9 hours of consistent sleep, going to bed and waking up at roughly the same times daily. When you combine all 5 strategies, you create a complete system. Diverse plant fiber feeds beneficial bacteria. Fermented foods introduce new beneficial species. Time-restricted eating gives your gut time to repair. Minimizing additives protects your gut lining, and stress management optimizes the environment for a healthy microbiome. This is how you achieve true gut-brain optimization. Not just better digestion, but enhanced mental clarity, stable mood, reduced anxiety, and a stronger foundation for overall health. Your gut is not just a digestive organ, it's a control center for your entire well-being, and you have more power to shape it than you probably realized. Drop a comment. Which strategy are you starting with? Number 1, diverse plant fiber. Number 2, fermented foods. Number 3, time-restricted eating. Number 4, minimizing additives. Or number 5, stress management for gut health. I'd love to know what resonates most with your situation. Well, that's it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you found it helpful, please be sure to give it a like, and maybe even subscribe to Deeper Dudes, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos. It all helps the channel more than you know, and it also tells us that we should make more content like this. We post videos every other day that tackle real challenges men face. Remember, struggling doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. The fact that you took time to watch this means you're ready for something better. Thanks again for watching and for checking out all the amazing products in the description below. They could jumpstart your healing journey. Catch you in the next one. Deeper Dudes. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, keep thriving.